from the station working for you. This is WRTV News at 6, streaming now.
Good evening and thanks for watching the news at 6 here on WRTV. I'm Nicole Griffin. First, it's another dangerously cold evening across central Indiana. Despite the bitter conditions, some people still found a way to get in a walk. Meteorologist Kyle Mounts is here. And Kyle, how far will the temperatures drop tonight and what else are you tracking this evening?
Well, the good news is it's not going to be quite as cold as where we started off this morning, Nicole. We dropped down to 0 in Indianapolis. First time we've been at 0 or colder in a little over 2 years there, January 13th or 31st of 2019, when we actually dropped to 6 below 0. So temperatures this morning started off actually a little below 0 in some northern locations, areas like Peru and also Lafayette there, dropping around -3, -6 in Kokomo, 3 this morning in the Columbus area. We had some sunshine, so even that helped to melt a little bit of that snow, even though temperatures remain cold in the single digits right now. Kokomo at 5, it's 10 in Indianapolis. Next round of snow, it's going to be very light, but it's already kind of knocking on the door here. Should get into the western portion of the state around 8 o'clock tonight and put down ½ inch or less of snowfall. As we look at those temperatures this evening, they will hold fairly steady with those mostly cloudy skies and a light northwest wind. We'll talk about another round of snow in the Monday forecast in just a bit.
Kyle, thank you. With the cold temperatures and expected snow that Kyle just talked about, you need to be careful on roads and interstates tonight because the temperatures are so cold. The snow will likely stick and that could create some slick conditions. Just remember to slow down and leave plenty of space around you. And since temperatures have been below freezing recently, you will likely notice a lot of ponds and other bodies of water frozen over. But that ice is not thick and not meant for anyone to walk on right now. So if you see any frozen water, don't try to walk on the ice because you could fall right through. When it comes to pets, Indianapolis has the care and treatment ordinance. It says you must bring your dog inside if temperatures drop to 20 degrees or below. Violators can face a citation from the city. If you see a dog left outside in the frigid cold, you should report it to the Mayor's Action Center or through the Request Indy app. A wish that continues to inspire. One Bloomington couple says a trip to Disney World 15 years ago is still impacting their lives today. Tyler Kelly was diagnosed with lupus at 12 years old. The then Indianapolis middle schooler says his dream to go to Disney World would never have been a reality without Make-A-Wish. And although the trip to Orlando was 15 years ago, Kelly says the wish means more now than it did then.
I want to start a community center at one point and give back to little boys and girls who come from communities like mine. It's inspired me to want to go back to school at some point. It's inspired me to really push for diversity, equity, and inclusion in all spaces, right? Recognizing that each person has a story and that each person has a purpose, and that when we come together, when we unite together, we can make a big difference. And so I live my life inspired and encouraged and excited for what's to come. And it all started when I got to Make-A-Wish when I was 14 years old.
The Kellys, who you just saw right there, both have a passion to continue building inclusive societies. Tyler's wife, Justice, who works for Make-A-Wish, says it's something talked about every day in the local chapter. She says in August, the organization's local chapter introduced a diversity, equity, and inclusion initiative. Today, the state reports fewer new COVID-19 cases and deaths. The Indiana Department of Health confirms 1,764 additional cases of the coronavirus. That's down from about 2,800 additional cases yesterday. Since the pandemic began, 639,711 people in the state have tested positive for COVID-19. The Department of Health also reports 55 additional coronavirus-related deaths. That is 12 fewer confirmed deaths than yesterday. A total of 11,401 Hoosiers have died with COVID-19. Data from the state also shows that as of yesterday, 1,287 people were hospitalized here in Indiana for COVID-related reasons. That's the lowest number of hospitalizations since October 11th. And a reminder now, people ages 65 and up can sign up right now to get the COVID-19 vaccine. To register, just go to ourshot.in.gov or you can dial 211 to sign up.
What do you think Dad would think?
Oh, he would have loved it. He definitely would have loved it. He probably would have teared up seeing it, but he definitely would have loved that commercial.
A commercial during the Super Bowl. Will Logan says it's a surreal moment on a day that meant so much to his family. It comes almost a year after his father, Paul, died from the coronavirus. The Logan family is a football family. Paul was the beloved athletic director at North Central High School. He's a Hall of Fame football player at the University of Indianapolis. Now his son, Will, goes there too and is a junior student athlete. Will says his older brother played football as well, and his younger sister is a football manager at IU. He says his parents named all of their kids after football positions, the Mike, Sam, and Will linebacker. The 30-second ad with Will tonight was produced by the Indiana State Department of Health, and it hopes to encourage Hoosiers to get vaccinated. From start to finish, he says it was a really quick process. He only learned about the commercial after class a few days before the governor announced it would be shown statewide during today's big game.
People, if they get the vaccine, I know it's all sudden, but maybe this is the chance of getting everything back to normal, or you don't have to wear a mask and everything is back to normal life. And it saves people's lives. And I don't want people going through the pain and suffering. In the hospital, those 12 days were the longest 12 days of my life, and those suck. And I don't want no one else to go through that. So hopefully everybody gets the vaccine when they're eligible, and it can end up saving people's lives.
Will aspires to be an athletic director like his dad one day. He says the family hopes to have a gala to raise money for the Paul Logan Foundation, started just a few months ago. Tonight, he says most likely he will head home to watch the game with his family. A person is stable tonight after a shooting on the city's north side. IMPD says someone was shot near the intersection of 52nd and North Keystone Avenue this afternoon. Police were stationed at the Walgreens at the intersection, but it's unclear if the shooting actually happened there or not. There was no word yet on any possible suspects or motive behind the shooting. And a man is dead after a shooting early this morning near a lounge on the east side of Indianapolis. IMPD says officers found a person shot in the 9400 block of East Washington Street just after midnight. The man's identity has not been released. The circumstances behind the shooting are also unclear. If you have any information, call Crime Stoppers. That number's 317-262-TIPS. A car traveling the wrong way on I-65 on the south side of Indianapolis caused a multi-vehicle crash, leaving one person dead. The crash happened just after 1 this morning in the southbound lanes of I-65 near Southport Road. Indiana State Police say a vehicle was going northbound in the southbound lanes of I-65 when it crashed head-on into an SUV. The wrong-way vehicle then hit two other cars. State Police confirmed the person killed was the driver of the wrong-way car. He has been identified as 29-year-old Christopher Catman of Greenwood. Investigators are trying to determine if alcohol was a factor in the crash. An investigation is underway to find out the cause of an apartment fire that has left one person in critical condition. The Wayne Township Fire Department says the fire happened in the boardwalk of Westlake Apartments on the west side. According to firefighters, the smoke was coming from a first-floor apartment. The building contains 6 apartments, and the fire affected all 6 units. The Red Cross is now helping displaced families. And you can follow all of today's breaking news here in Central Indiana on our live blog. You can easily find it on the WRTV app and right on our website, WRTV.com. Tonight, the President of the United States responds to the death of former Indiana First Lady Susan Bai, how President Biden is honoring her. Kyle.
We'll have some snow showers tonight, then another system tomorrow into Tuesday morning. Right now, models coming in with about 1 to 3 inches of snow for the Indianapolis area. I'll let you know how much snow you can expect. You're watching WRTV News at 6.
Tonight, the President of the United States is recognizing former Indiana First Lady Susan Bai after her death. Susan Bai died following a battle with glioblastoma. She was the First Lady here in Indiana from 1989 until 1997, when her husband, Evan Bai, was governor. The Bai family says a memorial service will be held when health conditions allow. Susan Bai was 61 years old. And this evening, President Joe Biden released a statement. Here is a portion of it. It says, quote, "Jill and I are deeply saddened to learn of the passing of Susan Bai, a beloved public servant and a warm and wonderful friend who brought light to the lives of all who knew her." A former First Lady of Indiana, Susan came to Washington after her husband, Evan, served as governor and was elected to the United States Senate. In a family whose name is synonymous with service and achievement, Susan stood out as a singular treasure, a model of goodness, generosity, and grace, end quote. The second impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump is scheduled to begin on Tuesday, but conviction seems unlikely. ABC News' Rachel Scott shows us why.
The second impeachment trial for former President Donald Trump begins in the Senate on Tuesday. The single article of impeachment alleges Trump incited the January 6th riot on Capitol Hill.
In the one article impeachment is that he singularly incited a riot to invade the Capitol, and I do not think that will be proved in the trial, no.
We're going to do our constitutional responsibility and hold a trial.
Sources tell ABC News congressional investigators are combing through video to see if they link Trump and his associates to the insurrection, including this one obtained by ABC News.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Thank you very much.
It shows Trump's longtime associate Roger Stone near men in militia gear, two of them with Oath Keeper insignias, just hours before that deadly Capitol Hill riot. Stone has denied any involvement. Democrats claim the former president summoned the mob to Washington. An ABC News investigation found more than a dozen of those who stormed the Capitol said they were following the president's lead. But Trump's lawyers maintain he did nothing wrong, arguing the impeachment trial is unconstitutional. Longtime Trump ally Senator Lindsey Graham agrees, telling CBS
that if you believe he committed a crime, he can be prosecuted like any other citizen. Impeachment is a political process.
Democrats need the support of 17 Republicans in order to convict. GOP Senator Pat Toomey on CNN standing by his previous comments that he believes Trump committed impeachable offenses, but considers conviction unlikely.
Right? I mean, you did have 45 Republican senators vote to suggest that they didn't think it was appropriate to conduct a trial. So you can infer how likely it is that those folks will vote to convict.
It's still unclear how long the trial will last. One of Trump's lawyers has asked that the trial pause during the Jewish Sabbath. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer's office tells me they will respect and honor that request and that conversations about the structure of the trial continue. Rachel Scott, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
Well, these snow systems that move through, they continue to add up for us across the season. There you can see nearly 12 inches of snow now has fallen in Indianapolis this season, but we've still got a little catch up to do. And we've got some more systems that will bring some accumulating snow, and we don't have to wait very long for that. Radar shows possibly a few flurries here. We've got some very dry air in place, but as we look back toward the west across central Illinois, there's a band of some snow that is narrow but will be moving through here. And as we get to around 8 o'clock or so, you can see more of those snow showers streaming in, some flurries on either side of that. It will move through, and by the time we get into the early overnight hours, it's just cloudy once again, but quickly could see about a ½ inch of snow out there. So again, those roads could quickly become a little bit slick and snow covered because our temperatures are so cold, so it sticks pretty instantaneously. There's a look at the numbers. We're at 10 right now in Indy, already down to 2 in Peru, and it's 9 degrees for you in Richmond. Those temperatures, again, not expected to come crashing down too far because of that blanket of cloud cover that we'll have out there. 9 in Danville, 9 in Greenwood. It's still going to be very cold as we go into tomorrow morning, but the wind should be fairly light for us. We look at your Monday forecast, quite a bit of cloud cover out there. The chill eases just a little bit. Temperatures that will make their way back into the middle 20s for an afternoon high, and we've got another chance for some snow coming our way. Here's a look at TrueCast by mid-morning at 10 a.m. This one very much like the one we're expecting this evening. Should be very narrow in coverage. Looks like it'll be nearer north of I-70 here. Then kind of the bigger player moves in as we go through the late afternoon and the evening hours. And models continue to kind of fluctuate with the placement on this one. They've kind of taken a jog back to the south. This particular model mainly along and south of I-70. But we'll certainly keep an eye on that. May see a little bit of a wintry mix on the far southern side, and then this all tapers off to a few snow showers going into mid-morning on Tuesday. So that first round tomorrow morning, again, about a ½ inch of snow possible. And then as we go into the evening and overnight hours, some areas south of I-70 could see over 4 inches of snow, something that we will watch for you. That 7-day planning forecast, more snow in the forecast by Wednesday and Thursday. And look at that next weekend, highs only in the teens and likely to start below 0 for Valentine's Day.
All right, Kyle, thank you. A lot of big sports news tonight, including the IU Hoosiers basketball team, how they took down the 8th-ranked Iowa Hawkeyes in dramatic fashion. That's coming up next. It's Super Bowl Sunday. The big game kicks off in Tampa at 6:30, and it's the first time in history a team will play at its home stadium in the Super Bowl. Of course, that team is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are taking on the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. Of course, it's an old school, new school matchup. The Bucs quarterback Tom Brady is 43 and is hoping to win his 7th Super Bowl. 25-year-old Patrick Mahomes is the Chiefs QB, and he's looking for back-to-back Super Bowl titles. Raymond James Stadium in Tampa will host 22,000 fans, many of whom are vaccinated healthcare workers. Masks and social distancing is mandatory, and since we are still in the middle of the COVID-19 crisis. And like we just mentioned, the NFL gave away 7,500 free Super Bowl tickets to vaccinated healthcare workers. However, the Colts had to turn down the league's offer for local healthcare workers to go to the game. The team says they reached out to a few healthcare partners to gauge their interest, and those healthcare groups said they needed their frontline workers on call and available right now here in central Indiana. As we reported last night on the news at 11, former Colts quarterback Peyton Manning has been inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That wasn't a surprise, but he joins former teammates Edgerrin James and Marvin Harrison in Canton. And on top of that, former coach Tony Dungy and former general manager Bill Polian are also in the Hall of Fame. And check this out. Today, the Pro Football Hall of Fame tweeted out this picture of Manning and a few other players getting their measurements for their Hall of Fame bronzed bust. Congrats to Peyton Manning. In a thriller today in Bloomington, IU taking on the 8th-ranked Iowa Hawkeyes. Remember, the Hoosiers beat Iowa on the road last month. Today was a back-and-forth contest coming down to the final seconds. With the game tied at 65 and time ticking down, sophomore guard Armand Franklin had the ball and then picked his spot. He drove and pulled up, hitting a jumper with about a second and a half left in the game. This propelled IU to a 67-65 victory over Iowa, which could be significant towards a potential NCAA tournament berth. Franklin finished the game with 4 points. Trace Jackson-Davis scored 17 points and grabbed 12 rebounds to help pace IU. Next, the Hoosiers face Northwestern on Wednesday night. Living through the pandemic has been mentally and physically exhausting for many people. We'll introduce you to one little girl who had the coronavirus, what it inspired her to do that could now help countless number of people. Welcome back to the news at 6 on WRTV. We have all dealt with this pandemic in different ways, but one thing is for certain, our lives have changed in one way or another. A little girl who lives near Nashville, Tennessee, came down with COVID-19 herself. She decided to turn that experience into words that will hopefully inspire people all across the country and across the world. Eric Hilt with our Scripps partners in Nashville has that story.
It's not out of the ordinary to find 9-year-old Eden Hummel with a book or a pencil in her hands.
I love writing.
So when the 3rd grader caught the coronavirus last year, she did what any aspiring author would do.
The kid who had COVID, Eden Hummel, author and illustrator.
She wrote and published a book about it.
It makes me feel proud of myself.
The book is titled The Kid Who Had COVID and explains Eden's experience with the virus, from her first symptoms.
When we got to the doctor's office, I felt so tired.
To her eventual recovery.
And no one else in my family caught it.
Now she hopes the book, which is available on Amazon, can help other kids who get the virus.
When I had it, I felt a little bit lonely, knowing that I had it and no one could tell me what it was like, because I don't know anyone that did have it. I thought it would be good to let people know about it.
Eden says she wants to write another book, but she hopes the next one isn't about having the coronavirus.
I will never be alone in this world, and neither will you.
That was Eric Hilt with our Scripps partners in Nashville. And Kyle, that is a truly inspiring story. It's so amazing to see what some people have been able to accomplish during the pandemic.
Yeah, nice to find those bright nuggets along the way. We've got temperatures out there that are very cold, and we got plenty more snow chances. One of those will move through this evening, but generally about a ½ inch or less of snow accumulation. Then tomorrow evening and overnight, another 1 to 3 inches of snow. Some areas could see a little more than that. We look at that extended forecast, more chances for snow and plenty more cold, even colder, heading into next weekend.
All right, Kyle, thank you. And thank you so much for making WRTV your choice for news. World News Tonight is coming up next. Then join us back here for the news at 11. Have a great night.